right, today on Know the Ropes, I got the dad to Jaleel Hackett. But Hackett, what's good?
Hey, what's good, Zeb? How you doing?
Hey, man, how you feel after yesterday, seeing that good work?
Man, yesterday's work was it was intense. You know, I love when my son gets the opportunity, and once again, like I said before, gets the blessing to be able to go in camp with some of these top-level guys. We went there yesterday and got to get some good rounds in with Boots Ennis. Got some good rounds in with Malik Hawkins. Both of them got big career fights coming up for them. And we also got to get some work with Rashiem Jefferson. It was another young man. I'm sorry, it skips my mind. But working with those pros, it makes my son get to see where he really is as far as what I need to go back and work on, what I need to improve on, where I have reached a good stance on. So I love it. I appreciate Bozy for letting us come out there. Coach Kenny, he was there also. And definitely Boots, because Boots actually spoke up the first time, said, nah, put him in the mix. If his father said get in the mix, put him in the mix. Let's find out where his medal is. So I respect that.
And it was like very intense sparring, and Jaleel gets so much respect from Boots' dad that he was like, man, definitely bring him back.
And I appreciate him for that.
And that's another coach, man, that really loves the heart of Jaleel and his work ethic.
Yeah, you know, when other coaches, I don't believe in that toot your own horn. I don't believe in that give yourself your own nickname. I think time applies everybody, you know, and for Jaleel to be able to go into these camps and these guys have a level of respect for him to be brought into a locked door session. You saw yesterday they locked the gym up. It was only the fighters and coaches, no watching, spectating and all that. It was
temperature check.
Temperature
kept the
check,
gym
everything.
clean.
You know, so for them to, you know, invite him into those situations, that tells me he's still on the road to being a qualified professional en route to hopefully being a world champion.
What's so crazy about it, he's learning from these future world champions and world champions how to conduct, you know, himself as a professional.
Yes, I really see that. You know, those guys went in yesterday, him and Boots sparred, and for a while it looked like two guys that had nothing. Like they've been on social media going at each other. And when it was done, they dapped up and it was like, hey, that's the work. You know, that's what I like. What no friendly sparring I do not like. I'll be the first to tell you. When you trying to get a fighter ready for a big fight or any fight, friendly sparring don't help you. You know, steel sharpens steel when they clash together. Cotton only makes it shine. So we come there for the steel on steel. So I love the fact that we got that.
While I have you, man, I want to get your thoughts on Boots Ennis.
Man, boy sharp, boy bad. You can see the maturation of him from amateur to pro, and that's the thing that I think is really special when you get to see that in a fighter. I remember when the Olympic trials were, he didn't look as big as he looks now, physically. You know, then that to me is showing the maturation. So I really definitely, you know, see where he's going. I respect what his dad is doing with him. You know, so, you know, I would shout out, you know, love the way they work and hope he has a great, outstanding future, man. I really do. I think we're having a great situation in boxing where we have the elder statesmen like the Terrance Crawfords, the Earl Spences, the Danny Garcias, all those guys that reached the 30 plateau, Lil Gary, you know, Gary Rush Jr., all those guys that reached the 30 plateau, they're looking for those big money fights before they exit boxing, and it's the passing up the down. You know, the next group that's up, in my opinion, some might think different, but my opinion is the Shakur Stevensons, the Teofimo Lopez's, the Boots Ennis's. They're that group that's getting ready to touch the mantle and make that move. And my son are the guys, you know, are stepping in. When you got the guys like Jaleel, Rashiem Jefferson, DJ from New Jersey, and DJ from out Vegas, who's also a pro now. When you got all of these young guys, First Dixon, I think soon also in that path. Scooter Davis, he's also from DC. When you got these guys in that path, and Trayvon Marshall, those are the young guns. You know, I like that thing that, you know, Jaleel got them coining or they're hashtagging, because they are the young ones. They're the ones that the really young amateurs, they're going to be looking at them when those guys become the young guns, saying, look here, Jaleel, y'all on the mantelpiece now, and we got to take the mantle from you. So, you know, it's part of kingdoms rising and falling. So it's nature of the sport.
I didn't want to bring it up. I'm going to ask you about it anyway. Did you get a chance to see the Gary Instagram?
About maybe 3 days in after I talked to Al Heyman about this Terrance Crawford situation. We still waiting on a response. We ain't got no response yet, so I don't know what the fuck going on with Terrance, man. I hope he don't turn to a sucker, turn to a cold bitch. You know. First, before I even get to Terrance, man, I want to apologize to my little nephew, man. Jaleel, Shorty, I sincerely apologize, man. Shorty, you ain't had nothing to do with what was going on between me and your father. That ain't had nothing to do with you, Shorty. You know what I'm saying? You was a casualty of war, man, at the time, and I didn't mean for that. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to accept my apology, Shorty. Now, all that shit I said about your father, though, I meant that shit. He dead wrong. He know what it is. And I'm still mean that shit. I'm still on that shit. But back to Terrance. Man, what's up, Slim? What's up? You don't got no fight. The only way I can see you not fighting me is if you was to fight a motherfucking Keith Thurman or Sean Porter. But if you ain't fighting one of them, don't nobody want to see you fight no motherfucking bums. Don't nobody want to see you fight no bums. You don't got nobody on your resume other than a 35-year-old, you know what I'm saying, Gamboa after 2-year layoff. My resume is definitely better than yours, Slim. My resume better than yours, Slim. You know what I'm saying? Make some shape. You know what I'm saying? We just waiting on the call. To the fans that's watching this shit, if the fight don't turn into anything, just know it's because your man Terrance don't got no nuts.
I'll say this. I appreciate that Gary took a different road or mode when it came to my son. Not something that he had to do. We didn't solicit for him to do anything. If he re-looked at it and said that, that's fine. But he didn't have to. This is a sport genuinely built on animosity and competition. Without it, you don't have boxing. So, you know, I have no problem with it. You know, that's the nature of this business. My son has no problem with it, or not that he's expressed to me with it. My thing was, make sure we get the whole push on it straight the way it is. But hey, it is what it is. Gary can say through his eyes how he saw things. But whether it made a difference to me, didn't make no difference to me one way or the other. You know, we don't believe in going back and rehashing stuff. You'll never hear me speak on Antonio or Antoine. Neither one of them spoke about it. I don't speak about their spawn. You seen my son have spawn where it's been guys he obliterated. You ain't never heard a word from him.
Me either. Never heard a word.
That was that day that guy could come back and do the same thing to you or whatever. But in the process of getting better, I don't want that guy that I can just walk over. I want that guy that's going to bring that thing to me. What you saw yesterday was two guys bringing that heat. When Jaleel and Boots was in their spawn, they was bringing that heat to each other. That's what I come for. I don't come for you to coddle my son. I respect Antoine 100% because every time Antoine sparred with Jaleel, he always bring it. He bring it. From the time Jaleel got to the point where he could really spar with them, Antoine told him, "Shoulder, I'm going to bring it." Tonio told him, "I'm going to bring it." That's what you want. Man, let this cub take all his motherfucking lumps while he in the gym. That's what the gym is made for. Taking your lumps. Having your armor scratched up means your armor has been tested. So it is what it is to me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, him and Malik Hawkins with the heavy action also as well, because he got a fight coming up also as well.
Jaleel and Malik, they too crazy people. I mean, that's just the way I can say it. They like two kids or a big brother, little brother when they outside the ring. You seen them throwing gloves at each other and snatch each other towels and stuff. But when they get in the spar, man, they go at it like once again, like they don't know each other. The object is to make each other better. And whenever you look at that, you saw me yesterday say, hey Malik, stay off these ropes. It don't look good when you got your back on the ropes, especially with a pressure fighter. Shorty ain't jump out the ring saying, oh, you a sucker, you hating or whatever. He said, I got you, coach. Left it at that. No coach, no family member, no nothing. That ain't for hate. It's for reality. What I said in relations to dealing with the Gary and Terrance Crawford thing, that was my honest opinion based on me knowing Gary and career-wise. That was my honest opinion. But let me stop my honest opinion and let me give my fan perspective. Why in the hell not? I'm going to just be a fan. Put them both in the ring. Terrance Crawford can't seem to get a dance partner for whatever reason. The big dance partner he want, he's got Danny Garcia, and hopefully that'll happen after that. Gary Russell called himself the boogeyman. He says nobody will fight him. Whether I believe it or not, as a fan, put them two in the ring together. Put them two in the ring together. You know, I read the comments where people saying, man, I respect Gary for being a dog, but, man, put him in the ring. If Terrance Crawford don't have a dance partner, Gary Russell Jr. don't have a dance partner, Gary willing to come up to 147, Terrance ain't got to do nothing more than do what he normally do training, make it happen. We will finally get the answer to, is the great big man always the dominant one over the great little man? This is an age-old question. If I was in the camp of Roy Jones Jr. when he was a middleweight, and Roy Jones Jr. would have said, hey man, I'm going to heavyweight and fight for the heavyweight title, I'd have felt the same way if I know him personally. As a fan, I want to see those type of David and Goliaths. But if you know somebody personally, the personal aspect always takes the forefront. But when he went 60, 68, 75, like you saw the accumulation and maturation of, hey, Roy is about to do this at the heavyweight division. I just think it's the right process. But if Gary don't want to do that, and Gary say, hey, let me just jump there, hey, as a fan, I'd love to see it. I would love to see it.
You know, speaking from the personal level, like you said, do you wish he would have just gave you that call? Just picked up the phone and like, if you had a problem with what I said, just call me about it.
I'm going to tell you this. I tell my son all the time, pressure makes a diamond, but pressure busts a pipe. You never know until the pressure is applied. If he thought that was pressure applied, and he was the diamond that he always claims to be, he'd have picked up the phone and called me. Say, hey, bro, this is what I felt. I would like it if you go back and say something and adopt a different way, but it is what it is. And I would have. There's no problem with that. But what I saw was pressure bust the pipe. You know, I've never taken offense to something somebody say in relation to me if it wasn't accurate from my thoughts. And I did reach out and try and call him. I did reach out and try and text him. I've talked to his dad. I haven't directly talked to both brothers. But I think everybody who really care about you, they're going to do the thing or say the things that make the common sense level come back. But after it gets to a certain point and that just ain't what your thought pattern is, just let him get what you want. Terrance Crawford, if he available to fight you, well, fight him. Fight him. I mean, I don't want to see a mismatch fight. 47 versus a man that say he can only get up to 140. But it is what it is at this point. If it's available, we as fans, and I took off my coach and family hat, I put on my fan hat. We as fans want to see it, make it happen. Neither one of them seem to have a fight date or a dance partner. You know, but as far as the landscape of boxing, my first concern is Jaleel Major Hackett. And whatever's going on with him, whatever puts him in his right situation, That's what I'm going to be concerned with first. When all that stuff about Gary Jalip came to me, I was like, damn, I'm not tripping over that. It is what it is. People can ask him his opinion on it. But I'm going to still say this. If it don't happen, if they can't get that 47 fight to happen, I still would love to see him and Burchett. I still think that's a great fight. I think if that happens and all the other stuff in boxing that look like it's happening, even AB talking about going back to 140, between 130, 135, 140, it's action out there.
That actually would probably be a great move with that Burchett situation, especially now after Lomo talked about
Lomo say he
going back to 130.
He going back if he go
that's
back
where
to
you can meet him.
130. Now put it on my hat like if it was my son. If my son was in that same position Gary in right now, I'd be telling my son, Shorty, we get ready to go use the rules to our advantage. We gonna fight Burchett. We gonna knock him off. When we knock him off, if Lomo really serious about coming back to 30, now I got the red flag waving, saying, Slim, you don't have to wait for a belt. Here's mine. That's the rematch that I think he wants. That's the one that he wants more than anything. I think even more than Terrance Crawford. Get that. Go get that belt. Handle that business. You get Lomo again, you could beat Lomo. Guess what? Then I'm going to be the first person in line saying, hey, Gary, it's done at 30. Go to 35. At 35, now you got to meet them dudes, whether it's Teofimo Lopez, because Slim a monster too, or whether it's Tank, or whether it's Devin Haney, or whether by then I think Shakur will be done grew again. He young, he growing. He could be there. So, it's all types of stuff there. I was just speaking on the right path to go get everything you want the way you want it.
Because with the Lomo situation, his focus is belts. He wants to unify. If he can beat Teofimo Lopez, he get the unification. Boom. He said he wants to go back down to 130, grab everything up there. You have that. If you can get Burchett and beat him, he has to see you at that point to get that rematch.
Because right now, as the WBC featherweight champion, and he doesn't seem to be in any speed to relinquish that belt, then if they do all of that work at 30 and somebody else knock off Burchett, you still gonna be in the same situation. But if you go there and beat him, you control the situation. Now you become the king on the table. Right now, it's just all speculation. It's just all what if, what maybe. Everybody who comment, myself included, we all fans. At the end of the day, if you want to look at it like that, we only can give speculation. If he beat Terrance Crawford, congrats to him. Terrance Crawford beat him, congrats to Terrance Crawford. But at the end of the day, they're going to say a big man versus a little man. Neither one of them got nothing to win out of that fight. But if he go at 30, conquer the Burchett Mountain, then he got everything in looms of the 30. But if his heart is dead set on fighting Terrance Crawford, neither one of them got a dance partner to fight each other. Gary got a big heart. Gary got a hell of a set of skills. I've always said that. Never seen anything different. But so does Terrance Crawford. And when you looking at a guy, and I'm just going off what each one of those men said. Gary said all I got to do is be 141. So that gives me the indication that that's as big as he's going to come in at. Terrance Crawford said if he don't get a big fight that he won at 47, he moving up to 54. So you damn near talking about a middleweight. So now you putting at the best a junior welterweight in with could be as much as a middleweight, but at least a junior middleweight.
With that wrestling background, who deadlift 400 pounds.
That's a lot. That's a lot to put out there. But like I said, if Gary's now focused on being the great, putting himself in that great, man, go get it. Go get it. That's what he feel he need to do. But as far as anything dealing with me and him or anything dealing with my son, I don't have no hold-ups on Shorty. I'm gonna be a man all the time. I'm gonna teach my son to be a man all the time. Men can disagree. Men can agree. But at the end of the day, we respect each other as men. If I gotta agree with you for you to consider me a man, I really don't care if you consider me one. But if you can say that was your opinion and you your own man, and I respect where you came from, then I'm cool with that. I respect where his opinion is. I can beat Terrance Crawford. What fighter? You could take Monster And you ask Monster, can he beat Terrance Crawford? More than likely, Monster gonna say, I can beat Terrance Crawford too. Because each fighter always feels, I am the best. If I got a fighter, he don't feel like that, I don't want him. He need to go get another job. You know, but if I'm looking at it from how do we get the most out of this, the most ain't even fighting Terrance Crawford. That's the most for one night. But the most is going at 30, dominating that. And you got 6 dance partners that now all of a sudden want to fight you because you beat Burchett. But hey, it is what it is. Like I said, I don't have no slight there to that young man. I've been watching Gary grow all his life. I know what type of fighter he is. And I always just speak on me. Gary made a statement of, you know what I've been doing. I've been doing this since I was 12, 13, 14. He's 100% correct. Gary ain't wrong. I sparred with Gary when Gary was like 14 years old, and this young motherfucker had grown man punching power then. After we sparred, I told Gary, I said, Gary, if we spar anymore or in the future, I hope it's when you a pro, because you gonna have to pay me. I didn't mince words on that. I told Allen, his brother Allen, who didn't turn pro, Allen was a cold-blooded monster as well. I told both of them, bruh, if you think y'all gonna beat on me for 20 years of a pro career, I hope y'all got deep pockets, because y'all gonna have to pay me for that, because you all are that good. Zeb, you seen my son hit me one time we spawned. I was spawning my son. I told him the same thing. Show, that's what they made spawn partners with. I'm a coach. I'm not gonna keep letting, I'm almost 50 years old. You think I'm gonna keep letting y'all young boys with this old crazy punching power beat on me? You got to be crazy. My son learned a lot from Lil Gary. Learned a lot from his father. Learned a lot from his brothers. Just in that atmosphere. Shorty was raised in that jungle. To be honest with you, people want to ask that question. Yeah, he was raised in that jungle, and you had to be able to bite. Ain't none of the cubs in that joint don't got no scars, because if you jump out there with a lion and you a cub, you gonna get bit. The ones who could get bit and growl even harder are the ones that become lions. The ones that get bit and run up under the cage, those are the ones that gotta find something else to do. You know, this a complete jungle sport. You know, once again, like I told you last time, I had a mentor growing up, Ronald Strong. I think I learned so much from him, not just in the concept of the way to conduct yourself in business, but the way to conduct yourself as a man. And I'll never forsake things that I learned from men for likes, for clicks, for shares. Just can't do it. You know, I don't say when something is an accurate fact that it's not, and I'm not gonna say when something is a lie that is truth. It's not. So yeah, with those comments about me, I don't mind. But when you start bringing the comments to my son, once again, I don't mind them, but make sure they're accurate. You know. So, and I'm not the one to say ask such and such because he was in there, ask such and such because he was in there. Because if I've gained a certain level of respect from people, they'll say, man, that couldn't have been that way because this man does X, Y, and Z. So, you know, like I said, I wish any of them fighters the utmost respect and the utmost of what they want out of their career. But I want them to always remember, when somebody tells you something who's never asked you for anything, isn't asking you for anything, they're saying it from a place of they really fuck with you. Because 99% of the people that egg you on, guess what? When they in the company of you, they giving you that. When they in the company of your opposition, they giving them that. So you know, that's how I look at it.
Hey man, before we wrap things up, man, how excited are you, man, for that opportunity for Jaleel once again going out to camp?
Man, Jaleel been in camp with Tank 3 times now. Tank bad. I mean, his spawn, his training, young man train hard, he working hard. He threw his hat in the ring, and he got his just due out of throwing his hat in the ring. Wish him all the best going forward. My son has learned a lot. My son get his metal tested. This time when he go out there, he's going out there to emulate Leo Santa Cruz, who I've told you on various cases, I think is a great fighter. He like a tornado. And if my son can bring in what they're looking for to be that tornado, then boy, this is going to be a blockbuster. You're going to have Tank, who, in my opinion, he's going to be looking to be more calculated. And if he's there inside, doesn't have to outpunch him, but he has to actually look for the clean shots. Leo is like a wind-up toy. You wind that joke up and let him go. He throwing punches from every angle. But if you go back to the Abner Marsh fight, he can box. You know, so it's going to not just be a war of two fighters. It's going to be a war of two camps. Coach Calvin, Coach Kenny, they sitting down, coming up with game plan number one, but then what if game plans. Because the great must have what if game plans. Leo's father, he up there doing the same thing. Game plan number one, that tried and true, but then the what if game plans. So, you know, this gonna be something, man. You could see a fight that actually defines both of them as fighters, both of their careers, and we could be turning back the clock to that. Man, we talked about that 80s joint, that legendary nights. Showtime, HBO might have to make a legendary night of this, because it could be that. It could be a legendary night.
And that's what you want as a fighter. Not to end your career on a certain way, but you want to be remembered.
Right. I want to be thought of as a coach that partook in that. I want my son to be thought of as a fighter who had the opportunity to be in one of those nights. You know, that not just career defining night, but bruh, this is on the mantelpiece, like everybody has this fight. You know, Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler, they fought 4 rounds, but people say that's the greatest 4 rounds in middleweight history. Whether I won it or lost it, I'm part of history when they say, man, both of these men came in here and no man left out of here as a loser. Every fan got blessed, but somebody had to be raised as the victor. You know, so I teach my son that. You know, you want to ascend to the throne, you got to go take a kingdom. Only time 2 people do something evenly is called a negotiation, and that's only because we're 50-50. Anything else is a takeover. So in this sport, this is all about takeover. So I hope my son get the privileged opportunity to face one of those type of guys and get his chance to see if he can be legendary. And like I said, if the Terrance Crawford night is Gary's legendary night, so be it. If not, I hope he gets the fights he's looking for so that his career can be considered legendary for him.
Hey, once again, I appreciate your time as always.
Man, anytime, Zev. Shout out to everybody on the ropes. You know, they always, you know, giving up everything and being supportive of my son. And respect to all the young fighters out there. And remember, in order to attain to the throne, you got to slay a couple of dragons. So I want all y'all young fighters to remember that.
All right, on the ropes, Bernard Hackett, we out.